Jaeden, OpenAI has not exactly been on a tear. Can we agree on that? Like, it feels like they've
Yeah.
gotten their lunch eaten by pretty much everyone. Well, they are back in the picture with 5.4. And by the way, they were already sort of, I think, with, a 5.3 instant or whatever they were calling it. It's been OpenAI week for a lot of reasons. But um, the things that I have been seeing, and I have been testing it out, my early stuff hasn't kind of like really broken through for me. I do have some pet peeves about it, but the early reviews, Jaeden, have been really good. I think that the big stuff is obviously sort of like, what the rundown and the neuron and everybody is sort of like chirping about how, oh, this controls your computer better than you do. One of the big headlines I felt like around this was just Excel and Google Sheets. This is turning out to just be absolutely huge. Just the fact that, like, Claude and things can work in these sheets. So OpenAI, I just feel like this is the model that we've been waiting for. So I don't know sort of like what if you've been able to test it much, but would love to just dive in with this.
Yeah, I mean, I'll kick this off with what Sam Altman said about this. He said over on X. He said GPT 5.4 is launching, available now in the API and Codex. By the way, just small plug for all the AI companies in the world. I really appreciate it when they make the announcement and it's in their product and the API at the same time. As a developer or as someone that incorporates this tech, I really appreciate that. So 99% of you probably don't care. I'm just going to tell everyone. I appreciate that. Okay. He said it's rolling out. It's much better at knowledge work and web search, and it has native computer use capabilities. You can steer it mid-response, and it supports 1 million tokens of context. Okay, quick tweet tells you everything you need to know right there. I'm going to tell you what I'm most excited about, and that is the mid-response steering. I don't know if you've seen this, Connor, but like essentially what you can do, we've all had this problem in the past. And by the way, the reason why I think this is important is beyond just the conversations we have on our for ourselves, but for like software and like there's some crazy implications I'm excited about. But basically what happens, you're having a conversation with it. You're like, hey, like I need to go get a car rental from Rome. Where's like the best place to do it? I don't know. This is kind of a weird example. And it starts spitting out like, okay, you need a car rental in Rome. You probably are at the airport. It's going to be, you want to find the closest place. Like you can see it kind of thinking and reasoning out. Okay, well, maybe you're like, shoot, I'm like not by the airport. I actually
Right.
came in on a cruise and I'm in a
Right.
completely different place. So what do? Typically, you sit there, you wait for it to reason, you wait for it to write out the whole response. And you're like, no, actually, you tell it and then it rewrites a response, right? You have to sit there and wait for something isn't even going to be applicable. Okay, now we can do mid-conversation steering. So as you see it reason, if you see it's on the wrong track or you feel like it needs more context, you type that in. Oh, by the way, make sure you're actually looking at the cruise dock on the other side of the country over here, blah, 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 or whatever. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. It grabs that in just like it's part of its reasoning and logic and thinking, and it changes the answer mid-response. Oh my gosh, thrilled about that functionality. And I think OpenAI might be the first one really doing it. I don't see Gemini or Anthropic.
I
Everyone's going
don't
to
think.
copy them, no doubt, but that is a very cool tool right there.
I think you're right. Can I just jump on that for a second? Because you're right. It did that. And Jaeden, I got to admit, I actually didn't pick up on that. I don't know why, but it literally gave me a little indicator because I didn't see the tweet that you're pointing out when that Sam had sent out, but I did experience it. And I apologize. I didn't pick up on how cool that was because it sort of says like it was giving me a long answer for something because I try that out, right? I don't Jaeden, after so long of saying, hey, just pick one model you choose for me, I actually don't like it. It's funny because it gives me such bad answers. Like when I'm in Claude, I just stay on 4.6 Sonnet or whatever. I'm like, think as long as you want. I just want the best answers out of you. Chat gave me kind of like, bad stuff. So now I put it onto whatever 5.4 thinking or whatever it is. And so it now gives me like a little indicator saying like, hey, if you want to jump in right here, and I just didn't notice it. So that's actually awesome. Jaeden, the thing that sort of like had just bugged me, total sidebar, but like one of the things that they were chirping about, I think it was 5.3 instant, which guys just came out like a few days ago. These are all just like slightly better models. 5.4, I think is the big one. But one of the things that they were saying was that like it's less cringe. And like it's sort of the whole joke about like, hey, like, I just feel like, I want to like kick my dog, and ChatGPT would be like, hey, talk to me more about that. Whereas it should just be like, don't kick your dog, right? So it's like it's less a little cringe on that. The thing that it was also saying that it would do was try not to be so overprotective. The example that it was giving in the ChatGPT promo video was, I think, around archery. And like somebody was just like asking about archery, and ChatGPT spent forever being like, hey, if you're having problems at home, if you're thinking about using archery on, a human, like, what? I was just asking about archery. And so, but now it's doing this weird, not now, it has been doing this weird deep seek thing. So just to sort of paint a picture,
Yeah.
I was, Lucy, my daughter who's 14, she was having a thing where we had to go to she was totally fine, but we just had to go to like the hospital for like a thing, right? And like she was looking at this IV in her arm, and she's an athlete. She's like, "Hey, is it true that air bubbles in the thing will kill you?" Because like the show that I was watching, I was like, I actually don't know. And so I asked ChatGPT that, and it wouldn't answer. So now this one, it's like, okay, I'm like, now it should answer. So all I asked Jaeden was, if there's an air bubble in your IV, will it kill you? And it did the deep seek thing with Tiananmen Square. It gave me the entire answer and then retracted it. And
Ooh.
so I was like, come on, Chat. So Jaeden, I get it. I get that everybody loves it. I have my little pet peeves. I don't know. What's your experience?
Yeah, I was actually talking to my wife yesterday after I saw your post on LinkedIn about the Ivy thing, and I was like, "Ooh, like I really don't love that." And because I don't know if you've seen that there's also a bunch of, and maybe they're prepping for it. There's a bunch of legislation out of New York, I believe, close to Connor. So basically, it's what
Mhm.
Connor's doing, where they're saying they don't want AI to talk about legal, medical,
Ugh,
um,
so
like
stupid.
there's a laundry list. I think there was like, if I'm not mistaken, it was like anything to do with like um and like beautician stuff, like because you know how they have like
Yep.
licenses, like beautician licenses. Basically, every regulated industry where there's those regulated capture, like we don't want AI to answer anything about this, and I don't know if it's going to get passed. I just absolutely hate that concept.
Same.
And for the same reason, like if you're going to just completely nerf the model. Now, I really cross my fingers and hope that if for some reason that passed in New York, we could geofence it and please let the rest of everyone else get the answers and not just be and don't make all of us the
You just have
lowest
to go
common
across the border and
denominator.
then get like all these like then it turns into grok when you like
Dude,
cross the
yeah.
border or
You
something.
live in yeah, if you live in a neighboring state to New York, you got to cross the border if you want to ask it any sort of medical
Very
related
fair.
questions. But
No,
anyways,
I totally hear you on that. By the way, there's no way that passes. Dario has been shouting about that too. Guys, public service announcement. You can't make state laws around AI. It has to be federal. Anyway, sorry, go on.
yeah, I think that's going to be the way that we got to do it. Otherwise, it'll be a wacky, crazy hassle nightmare. So,
Mhm.
anyways, I think at the end of the day, that is a funny quirk. Hopefully, they fix it. I don't really know, but regardless, this latest model with 5.4, really, really impressive for the mid conversation steering. Also, it's impressive because it's a lot better, like you mentioned, at computer use. So, actually being able to understand what is going on your computer monitor. And the reason why they're doing this is because they're seeing a ton of competition with Anthropic right now.
Yep.
Anthropic basically is the winner with computer use. I personally use Anthropic's Google Chrome extension, which is just a little, you click it,
50
it opens
times
a
a day.
sidebar.
50
Yes,
times a day I'm using that thing.
amazing. Well, 50 times a day if they didn't rate limit me so much, but maybe you have a higher tier. Connor's in the $2,000 a month tier to Anthropic because he
Invest.
loves them so
Invest.
much.
Yeah.
So, anyways, yeah, pops up a little sidebar, tell it what you want. It controls your screen and gets stuff done for you. It's really good at that. OpenAI is trying to compete there, so they're putting a lot of energy into that. They're also trying to compete with what Anthropic's doing really well with Claude Code, so they've upgraded its kind of software development skills. So Codex is a lot better. And I mean, you can look at the benchmarks. The numbers are, going up quite significantly. GPT 5.3 at Codex was like 74%. Now the GPT 5.4 thinking is 75%. Actually, that's not that big. That's one step. Sorry. It's a big step from 5.2 thinking, which was 47%. So, anyways, we're moving in a good direction here. And I think that they have some of these areas where they have competitors that are really crushing it and very famous for specific use cases, and they're trying to win. Now, does that mean that like OpenAI is like, I don't know, deeply threatened? I don't know. Like they have most of the users in the world using them. Like most people use ChatGPT, but they have these use cases that are getting really popular. And I think they know if they don't attack them now, it's going to be something that, significantly impacts them in the future if Anthropic can really get a foothold there and grow with it.
No question. It's Jane, you and I have a source that I won't name that was talking to us about this the other day that they were like, yeah, listen, Anthropic's doing great now, but people are going to catch up because Anthropic is really making all their money on code right now, right? I think we can agree on that. Even though Anthropic is just, I think, probably the best model out there. Gemini is obviously like super close. I love Gemini. I use Gemini for a ton of stuff. nothing can compete with Notebook LM. Like I would pay just for Notebook LM. It has changed my life. And that's the Gemini underlying model. 3.1, is it 3.1? I guess it's 3.1. And also what you're talking about 5.2, like we've had GPT 5.2 forever. That's what the correct comparison. Like I think you were giving the correct comparison there, the 47 or whatever. It's because people have just hated 5.2. I haven't liked it either. I just stopped using ChatGPT almost altogether. I'm going to go back now because 5.4 seems so much better. But the funny thing about you just talked about people sort of like, can other companies catch up? I don't know if you saw this. I posted about this too. Sorry, guys. I've been posting like crazy on LinkedIn. I'm sure I'm annoying people, but like, it was just this hilarious thing. Our interview with Dario Amadeus and Anthropic on Fox News, and he was talking about AI taking jobs, all that kind of stuff, and all the B-roll was all ChatGPT. And some people were just like, "Oh, they're trolling them because of the DoD and all that kind of stuff." And I'm like, "No, you don't get it. This is how the world thinks. That's what the world thinks AI is. They think it's literally called ChatGPT. So I
Yeah.
don't think they were trolling. It's just one of these things where, if I mean, GPT sort of OpenAI is sort of like Google. They just and sort of like Apple, just don't screw up. You know what I mean? Like that's it. Like they just have to kind of keep on going. So anyway, I'm excited to kind of dive deeper into the model. I've been impressed so far. I haven't been blown away, but I don't know what would have to blow me away.
Okay, and just for everyone listening, a couple last use cases that it improves on that might actually be interesting for people. The CEO of Mercer is Brendan Foodie was kind of talking about some things that was good because it took Mercer's Apex Agents benchmark and it did really well on there. He said that it excels at creating long horizon deliverables like slide decks, financial models, and legal analysis, delivering it does it a lot faster and cheaper than other models. So these are some areas that, like, whether you're using ChatGPT or another model, or even if you like another model more than ChatGPT, if you're using ChatGPT and you use it for legal analysis, slide decks, or financial models, it got better. So that's just good news for everyone there, guys.
Yeah, it's awesome. Jane, let me close this out because I want to sort of say one more thing on all this. Like, guys, you notice that we don't have like a lot of we don't have like outside sponsorships, things like that. Like Jaden and I just like love doing this. We love hanging out. We love communicating with you. Our audience is like growing like crazy, which I don't think I realized. Jaden just told me about the metrics. If you could leave a rating and review, I know there's a lot of you out there. That's all we ask. It's literally all we ask. Come check that out. Kind of just like drop a rating review. It means the absolute world to us. Like it gets more people listening, all that kind of stuff. So that's all we ask. Again, we don't have tons of no ads, no sponsors, things like that. So we are so grateful for you all. Thank you for listening. Thank you for growing this community. It's been absolutely amazing. And we will catch you on the next episode.